Welcome once again to Hunters Entertainment on Twitch.tv. My name is Knoxweiler Burf, and tonight I will be your game master and guide through a dark and challenging world of survival horror. Tonight, as we do every Tuesday evening, we are playing Outbreak Undead. Now, if you're not familiar with Outbreak Undead, allow me to be very clear. This game is not for the faint of heart. I, as the game master, have confirmed consent with each and every one of my players, and our lines and veils have been drawn very firmly. We have safety protocol in place to assist us and to protect everyone at the table here tonight. We ask you for your consent as well, and we encourage you to read the content warnings very closely. This game offers us all opportunities to explore dark themes and to shine a light on the human condition in the safe confines of our imagination, but that takes bravery and the support of all of us, including you. You see, in Outbreak Undead, the game centers around the idea of survival. It is a simulation. It doesn't have the same safety nets that other games might have, mechanically speaking. Not every character here is being played with the same objectives and motivations, and some are working against the other players. They're in communication with dangerous outside forces, and the results are hard to predict. Anything here could happen tonight. In this world, there are no magical swords to be discovered, no valiant knights or castle walls to hide behind. This world is the rotted husk of our own world, left languishing after an apocalypse that happened over 20 years before us. It is the echo and dying gasp of a civilization that is hanging on, hopeful that perhaps there might be some light at the end of this very dark tunnel. Still, in the greatest darkness, hope burns the brightest. I would like to thank both JB Jara and Alex Hillman and the entire Hunters team for helping us to make this campaign happen. Without their steadfast support, we quite simply would not be here. I'd also like to thank all of our Undead moderators in the chat right now. Please give them your respect and your attention. They're prepared to help you by answering any questions that you might have and supporting your efforts. If you haven't already, we ask that you sign up for the Scry program in our panels below. It will allow you to engage with the communities of our apocalypse quite directly. You yourself can take on the role of a survivor and then help to divert resources and goods to where you think they are needed most. Make no mistake, your choices tonight will be the difference between life and death to all the various settlements within the Rag and Bone universe. If you enjoy this content, as always, we ask that you make some noise for us on social media. Help us to grow and bring more survivors into the fold. Also, please join our Discord, where you can connect with others who also enjoy this particular brand of Dark Ride. But there you'll also find information about all of the Hunters products and the things that are coming in the future. Enough of all of that, however. Allow me to introduce to you the players in tonight's little nightmare. Markia, would you like to say hello to everyone, talk a little bit about what you do across the internet, and talk a little bit about your character tonight?
No, I'm okay. Thanks, Knox.
Moving forward.
Hi, I'm Markia McCarty. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Markia McCarty or at Darth Markia, just about everywhere. And as far as things that I do on the internet, on Thursday morning, you can see me do Kids on Bikes. It's Trouble in Techburg with Pixel Circus. So it's season 2 of our campaign, and it's already starting to get a little bit wacky. We've run into our lookalikes that may be our friends, our enemies, or our arch enemies, and I choose the last one for that. And then also, if you are into horror, My podcast, the Something Scary podcast, we're also on YouTube. We do animated weekly horror videos and also adaptations of fan submitted stories from across the world. So you can find Something Scary on YouTube, or you can also find it wherever you find your podcasts. As for my character that I've been playing for almost a year now here on Hunters Entertainment, Achira Sampson. She is she's been in tough spots before. She's between the proverbial rock and a hard place. There is a faction called the Shepherds that have been looking for her, and she is now trapped within a small mountain village or forest village called Sullivan Town. I think it was Sullivan Town with that faction, but hopefully maybe that faction is splintered in some way and not everybody has the same, the same end goal when it comes to her. And it's not only that, but Lampwick might have something to confess to her, and the episode is called Confessions. Maybe she has something to confess to Lampwick.
It's also
There's a lot that can go on.
It's entirely possible as well that the name of the session tonight, Confessions, has multiple different interpretations, including one that might be surprising to both of you. Luis, would you like to talk a little bit about your character and a little bit about what you do across the internet?
Yes, sure. I'm Luis Carrazzo. I'm an actor. I have a couple projects looming around the corner. One of them you can find the trailer for, Young Line of the West. Another one that I'm now beginning to get into, like, I guess we're still in pre-production, but it's getting on its feet. It's called Hold On to Me, and that's my next big film that I'm going to be working on. Really exciting character that I get to play in that one. I'll be able to talk more about that later. Of Hearts and Castles is still my short film that's been making the rounds. You guys can still find the trailer for that one. So if you search Of Hearts and Castles, you can find the trailer for that. Young Line of the West, you can find the trailer for that. Two totally different roles that I'm playing in each of those. And some of you know that I also, on occasion, play Nines Rodriguez on Vampire the Masquerade, LA by Night. And here I am Lampwick, who's been such a ride. I'm with Achira here in Sullivan Town. Lampwick, pre-apocalypse, Lampwick was not one of the best people walking around. He would use people when necessary as a means to an end, and he would be able to somehow tap into this, like, the hole inside of someone's being, this like vacancy inside of them, whatever was missing in their life, and he would, when he deemed it necessary, would almost in a manipulative way kind of become the thing he thought they were missing, if there was something in that other person that he can extract. How that's carried over into this post-apocalyptic scenario has been an interesting thing. A lot of those people that were easy to manipulate pre-apocalypse, I don't think are really around anymore. The good people, Lampwick thinks, are mostly gone. And what we're left with is a lot of people who are barely human in his eyes right now. And he found himself, out of necessity, crossing paths with the Shepherds and almost kind of aligning himself with them. Something really interesting to Lampwick about the Shepherds is the way they are with the Romeros, the zombies in our world, and how they interact with them and how they're able to almost communicate with them. So a lot of Lampwick's journey has been observing this and figuring out what is behind, or trying to figure out what's behind that. And all this time he's been with Achira. Achira is the last remaining person that he's been traveling with for a very long time. And so maybe there's an attachment there somewhere.
Perhaps. It's not as though the two of you haven't been through a lot together. I suppose the question is, what happens when the truth comes out? When the full weight of Lampwick's actions are known to Achira? What choices will she make, and will the two of you remain together? Or will you be torn apart? We wish to reward every one of you. You have been supporting Rag and Bone over these past few months, and we do have a number of gifts to help make your personal survival a little more bearable. First of all, you can find a pathway that will lead you to our free content Friday offerings. Those supplements have been written by yours truly and help to detail some of the factions, groups, and individuals within the Rag and Bone universe. If you're curious and you want to learn more, or perhaps even divine some of the secrets that I have been hiding, Free Content Friday would be your first step into a wide world of information that we've set aside for you. Those are absolutely free, as their name would indicate, and you can find them on Drive-Thru RPG. Those links will be in the chat, given to you by our fearless undead moderators. Also, as you continue to spend scry time, if we also manage to accrue subscription goals and scry time goals, the players will receive additional competency points. Now, they only receive one additional competency point this session, given that only one of those goals has been reached. However, even one competency point can be detrimental in the situations that they may find ahead of them. They'll be able to make some very, very serious choices based on what you've gifted them. If you would like to see those competency points increase before next week, I suggest that you help us to fill those bars. Also, we offer our wiki, which is growing very steadily. We would like to thank very truthfully Jules Does Stuff 15 for all of their aid in helping to set that up. But the wiki is going to be a source for information that you find here on the various campaign sessions, and hopefully that will grow. But if you would like to help to add pages to that, if we hit our goal before the following week, an additional competency point will be given to the players. That is quite a lot, but hopefully it will serve us well as we move forward. It's getting dark and the road is long. We should move on before it's too late. We'll be right back. The world ended on Monday, May 29th, 1995. The sky fell, and the dead would not die. Civilization quickly collapsed, and the sickness spread like lightning to even the most remote reaches of the world. They called it many things, but it started out simply as another round of the summer flu. It became something far worse. H195, commonly called the Legacy or the Reaper's Kiss, was even more deadly to those who became infected after they had passed away. For the dead did not lie in their graves. When their hearts stopped beating, they rose once more, attacking with rage those that were close to them. Warm flesh drew them into the streets, and friends and family turned on one another. Hospitals were overrun. There was no escape. In the wider world, at first, it seemed as though no one was immune to the airborne strain. But eventually, it appeared that 0.01% of the population had a natural immunity. Those lucky souls, however, couldn't withstand a concentrated introduction of the virus, delivered through the bite, or deep scratch, or blood-on-blood contact from one of the walking dead. The end of days were like wildfire, and throughout the world, people sought security and sanctuary where none was to be had. Entire cities burned to the ground. The world stopped. Miraculously, though, some still survived. And for the next 25 years, life has painfully struggled forward. The world now is a fractured place. Some, however, seek to make civilization anew. The Ender's Line uses old railway tracks to connect the small and scattered outposts and settlements that have cropped up across the United States and beyond. These rag and bone merchants deliver the necessities of life to the hard-living individuals that are scratching a life out of what is left behind in the ruins. They are a lifeline in a world that belongs now to the dead. The rain has not let up. It still pours in sheets, drenching the mud-covered Sullivan town. Town is something of a generous statement. This place is in the shadow of a shattered overpass. Concrete outcroppings like skeletal hands reach up from the ground here. The dark, thick mud is everywhere. Rebar, ancient, rusted metal, old vehicles that have been stacked atop one another to form walls. Countless small and pitiful shacks that have been built using the refuse that has been discarded within this area, gathered together, tethered with rope and a prayer. This is where the sad, gray people of Sullivan Town have made their home. Many of the buildings now are entirely empty. They've been abandoned. Sullivan Town consists of few more than a handful of survivors. At one time, these shacks in the shanty town were occupied. But as Achira and Lampwick have learned, the denizens of Sullivan Town have crossed the Citadel. And in crossing the Citadel, there are prices to be paid. Many of those that would seek to overthrow the control of the Citadel in this region have been executed or taken away. Having seen firsthand what Lieutenant Riggs is capable of within the Citadel proper, neither Lampwick nor Achira have any hope for those that have been removed from this place. Many of the individuals here still bear the scars of the Citadel's last visit. There is a man in his late 20s, perhaps early 30s, but he carries himself like a boy, Robin. He is the son of Jonesy, an older man with a scraggly beard that has appointed himself as the de facto leader of Sullivan Town. There is a large man that walks alongside Jonesy at all times named Barack, and the two of them help to hold together this community as it falls apart at the seams. From what you first observed, there was little food, few resources. They were subsisting off of rats, gathering whatever scrap they could find, trading it and trying to do their best to gather together what they needed to make Sullivan Town strong once more. But the hard times have not lessened in any way, and these people have suffered greatly. Many mistakes have been made. Many are dead. And in the center of Sullivan Town, the majority of the land is taken up with a makeshift cemetery. A large burial mound, multiple unmarked graves, and a burn pit filled with bone and ash. There are walls here, and there is some protection from the outside. But when Faith and Rowan, members of the Citadel, loyal and true, were still present within those walls, there was danger. For the members of the Citadel have not been forgotten in Sullivan Town. And while the members of Sullivan Town have done what was asked of them when Rowan brought you in, they did not do so willingly or with any amount of pleasure. Their generosity was forced. They gave you scraps of food and a small amount of water. The nurse that has worked with them, passable in her medical skills, did her best to take care of Camilla, who had suffered grievously at the hands of the marauders who you had just escaped. She is 6 months pregnant and unconscious. But her wound has been cleaned and she has been placed into a cot where she can rest comfortably. Rowan and Faith left you with supplies so that you could make your way further down the road should you choose to. Rowan had made it clear that she expected to know where you two were going. But yet, she did leave. And now the road is open to you, should you decide to go that route. Rowan and Faith are burying their dead. Faith's brother, Omar, who Achira is all too familiar with, is no more. And within the walls of Sullivan Town, Lampwick and Achira made a discovery. The body of the sentinel that had been placed upon Lampwick as a guardian by the mysterious group known as the Shepherds, killed at the hand of Rowan, is now gone. And as you searched, you found that Sullivan Town had lit a beacon. Black, thick smoke pours from a gazebo far past in the backside of the town. Oil, crude and tainted, burns brightly, as even in this rain and wind, thick black plumes of toxic smoke flow outward into the air. Surely it is a signal that can be seen from miles away. But as to its purpose, neither of you were certain. Within the center of these oil barrels burning was a stairwell. A stairwell leading to an underground chamber, a container. Strange herbal smells rose from that place. And a song that has haunted you for a very, very long time. Robin found you there and brought you back to Jonesy so that you could speak to the leader of Sullivan Town, both of you knowing something was wrong. The Shepherds were here. That conversation was short. As the rest of the members of Sullivan Town walked alongside 3 figures. 2 of them, quite simple, dressed in black, clean and perfect, walking through the rain, holding hands with one another. Individuals that you have come to know as Granny Hodge and Sister Deidre. But the figure behind those 2, that figure tore at your very sanity as fear threatened to unleash itself and send you running, scrambling towards the gates. But both of you, finding strength in each other and your presence here, managed to stand your ground. You have seen so much since the world ended. The dead, they roam the night. They walk amongst the living, endlessly, tirelessly, always hungering. They move throughout these lands. You've seen the horrors of allies turn upon each other. Murder, some of which you have committed. Atrocities, untold, countless. Humanity at its worst. But this can't be humanity. And it isn't the dead. Not quite. What it has for skin is strange, slick in the rain and translucent like a jellyfish. The flesh underneath is muscular and taut, but there are black veins worked across it. And its limbs, both legs and arms, are far too long. It walks on 4 legs, arms forward like 4 paws of a great beast. And its face contorted with a jaw that is unhinged and dangling beneath it, wildly filled with razor-sharp teeth. Its tongue lolls forth from its throat, and it drools thick black fluid. These figures are moving towards you. In front of this creature that makes no move to harm them. It walks obediently and carefully behind Granny Hodge. The creature's eyes are fully black. Empty voids, pits to be fallen into. But they are not without intelligence. There is hunger and rage there. And you sense that it is being held back by a thin thread. Its leash, unseen, is but a hair. As the figures move towards you, Lampwick, Achira, the other members of Sullivan Town, Barack and Jonesy, and his boy Robin, stand with old weapons behind you. What are your intentions?
I'm going to stand as they approach us, and Granny Hodge, who long ago when we first met, I recall, I believe, knowing her as Sister Hodge. So I'm deliberately going to bow my head, and I'm going to say, Sister Hodge, it is an honor to see you again.
Achira is going to try to keep the what the fuck off of her face. And just take a step back and let Lampwick talk.
Achira, you can make a composure check with 3 black dice, but if you do fail this, it will only affect your ability to hide your fear.
We're in formation right now, right? Me and Lampwick.
You are. It is what has kept you standing here.
Okay. I forget, for that formation, how does that help my composure?
If you fail the composure roll, you'll have the opportunity to hold fast due to Lampwick's presence. It wouldn't allow you to break, but what I'm telling you now is that breaking is not what we're testing. We're simply testing your ability to hide your emotion.
Okay. With 3 black dice.
Due to the severity of the situation, yes. Lampwick, I would like for you to make a persuade check.
Not bad.
And I'm going to have you add 3 black dice as well.
Got it. Any chance I can treat this as a coaxing?
Yes. I will allow it to be a coaxing.
I have 2 degrees of failure on that, which is not bad with 3 black dice.
It's certainly not bad at all, Achira. Would you like to mitigate those with competency points, or would you feel comfortable showing your fear to those present?
Never show them that you're afraid. If I make it a wash, then is my expression just unreadable?
I will allow for a wash to be unreadable if you wish to spend 2 competency to alter that result.
Okay, I'll do that. Oh, with this thing barely, barely holding back its will, thin thread and everything like that, and it's coming closer to us. Does that then make this a location hazard?
You are in the middle of a location hazard, yes. Luis, you have 2 degrees of failure on your coaxing.
I'm going to use 3 competency points
to make it a single degree of success, but once you do that, you have an
becomes-
ability. It makes it 4, is that correct?
Yes, my Weedle ability will make it 4 degrees of success.
All right. So you spend your competency and you bow your head as Granny Hodge approaches. This lumbering figure behind her. Now the figure next to her, the one whose hand she's holding, is new to you. One that neither of you have ever met before. An attractive, dark-skinned woman in her mid-30s with a shaved head, wearing the same black garb as Granny Hodge. They're holding hands and walking towards you. She has a stern, strong look in her eyes and sharp cheekbones, but it doesn't seem to be from hunger, as she seems well-muscled. She's eaten well, but she has about her a powerful aura that exudes strength and determination. They continue to walk towards you. Lampwick, you say what you say. Achira, you hold it all back, but it feels like a rushing river being held by a dam that's about to break. You're not showing them. You're not giving them that pleasure, but it is there, just under the surface. Child, it has been far too long. So long have we traveled. These wicked wildernesses, they hold much dark secrets. Opponents that would see us fall. Those that are far, far from the light of truth. I see you have brought us a gift.
Speaking of truth, Granny Hodge, as they call you here, since you've been taking care of them so well. Truth is, we were not expecting to come upon your presence here, although it is a pleasant surprise. There's much that we could talk about, as I'm sure you are aware that I've been shown the light.
I know that you have taken your first steps onto the path, but your righteousness has yet to be truly seen. You are but an acolyte.
That is understood. And I am very patient. And I am willing to take every step. How might we make the most of this chance encounter?
She laughs, just gently and softly. It's like parchment sort of crinkles in the air. The thunder somewhere off in the distance crashes and lightning strikes. The woman next to her lets go of Granny Hodge's hand, clasping it for a moment with two hands, protectively before releasing it. She steps forward, blocking your sight of the elderly woman. Chance occurrence, you say?
Or destiny?
Yes, perhaps destiny. Also, intention. You sent a gift to our brother. A very special gift in a carriage.
I did. What has become of that gift?
It is close. It is safe. It has offered us an opportunity.
An opportunity for what?
You look pale.
Do I? I have not seen my reflection in a very long time.
Have you been praying?
I have.
Have you faced your sins?
Not all of them, but I am well on my way.
Achira. This is good. Far too long have you wandered.
I hear that you've been looking for me.
That we have.
Did you send that talking Romero after me?
Yes, we did.
Why?
We needed you to see.
See what?
His glory.
Whose glory?
The prophet Malachi.
I don't know who that is.
You will. Do you pray, Achira?
I survive. I've never really had to pray for it.
Yes, you are strong. Strong of mind, strong of body. There is no question of that. How is your soul?
You do realize that we're living in the apocalypse, right? I don't really pay much attention to how my soul is doing.
It is a sad state of the world. All of them have lost their way. The older woman walks out next to Deidre and looks to you with a sharp eye. Faith. It is rare, but once found, it is stronger than steel, more powerful than anything left here. This garden is rotten, but it's just the beginning, child. This world, look at what it could become. And she turns back towards the abomination standing behind her. And it almost instinctively, as she raises her hand up, you see that there's some mark or something etched or burnt into her hand. It is black, and she turns. And as she does, the creature rears up onto two of its hind legs. It is his miracle. Don't you see?
There are a lot of different kinds of faith. Just because I don't have your kind does not mean that I don't have faith in my existence and in what I do with my time here. I'm not necessarily looking to take on other people's faith right now. I'm tired. I'm hungry. And I'm all full up right now.
Sister Deidre looks to you and nods. That is understandable. We can feed you. We can give you warmth. And in time, perhaps we can give you purpose. Brother Lampwick, take our guest back to her quarters.
Of course. I'll turn to Achira. Come with me.
Sure thing.
And then I'll turn to Robin.
He looks terrified.
Will you be able to show us to our quarters?
And also that food that was promised earlier.
Yeah. I'll get you the can goods. They brought jar. Yes, sir. And he runs off quickly and grabs a burlap sack from one of the buildings that you know belong to some of the villagers here. He bursts back through the door as all of you just stand there in the rain and the mud, standing 30 feet apart from one another in the middle of this road. They don't move a muscle. Robin nearly falls, slipping in the mud, and rushes up to you, Ochira and hands you a burlap sack. Here you go. Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robin.
I'll take. You know this. He starts walking, turns around. Jonesy behind you lowers the hammer on his shotgun and lowers the weapon.
I'll start to follow Robin, but I will stop for a moment and I'll turn to Sister Deidre. And I'll say, faith does come in many forms. And one thing that I've learned since my time with Brother Hayworth is that it's inescapable and that we are all absolutely connected.
We are, in fact, all connected. For that, Brother Lampwick, you are correct. Brother Hayworth has taught you well.
Thank you. You flatter me. I'm doing my best to listen. But Shira, shall we?
Yes, let's go.
Brother Lampwick, your trial, it has not yet begun. I hope your certainty and your silver tongue, I hope that they find the words to frame the faith that you will need to survive it.
They've certainly found purpose.
And by his hand.
All I can say is that my eyes are open more than they've ever been. And I see the world in a way that is more true than I think I have ever seen before. But there's not enough time to share all of what I've seen, learned. Although I would love a moment to learn more from what you've seen.
Perhaps.
I know that Brother Hayworth is not meant to be my only teacher.
We shall see.
A question before we go, Sister Deidre.
She looks to you.
These first steps that Lampwick has already taken, what does that entail?
Brother Lampwick has shown his strength, his willingness, his hunger.
In what way? An obstacle course like Citadel does? I'm trying to understand.
I will explain. It's different for everyone.
Really, because you haven't been very forthcoming so
There
far.
hasn't been much opportunity.
Much.
So it's hard to explain.
Much of this, Achira, and more, will be shown to you personally if you decide to walk the path of righteousness.
Okay, well, I think I'm ready to rest now. Lampwick, brother
Yes.
Lampwick.
Yeah, let's go.
I'll take you both back here. It's get you out of the rain. You got to be soaked to the bone. Boy, you come right back here. Yeah, Paul.
I'll follow him.
He takes you back towards the makeshift shanty cabins that have been scrapped together, and past the more bedraggled buildings that are at the front of Sullivan Town, right by the gates. You get the sense that, much like Grey Ridge, this is a bit of a holding area for those that might come in, rag and bone, outsiders, other guests. And he opens a gate and takes you into a slightly larger space that, quite frankly, isn't much better. But the buildings seem a little more well constructed, a little more sturdy, a little more dry and inviting, a little cleaner. Still miserable, but both of you have slept in far worse. He dusts off a series of cots, opens a series of doors. There's a latrine pit that just was dug out 2 days ago. It's in the back, and obviously you won't be needing much water to wash up with, but there are some basins underneath that cot there, should you want them.
Thank you, Robin. I suppose you should hurry back.
Yes, sir, I should.
Hang in there. There's going to be better times.
Yeah. And he turns and he runs. Runs out the door. Somewhere down the street, in the distance, you hear her singing again. Oh, children of the valley. And it echoes through, over the rain and the thunder. You still hear it. And there's the growling, the strange, tortured howls of that thing. They're doing something. You have no idea what, but it doesn't sound good. The two of you are alone inside the small shack. You're dry, and you have a bag full of jars. What do you do?
I'm going to make sure that that door is shut, and then I'm going to rush to kind of the drier kind of corner, and I'm going to turn to Achira. I'm going to kind of go through my stuff and try to pull something that I can write something on, and anything, even if it's mud, that I can draw. Do you remember what that was on her palm? I need to draw it out, and I'm going to try my best to, from memory, draw what I may have caught a glimpse of what was on her palm.
Achira's definitely going to help him with that, but she's going to sit down, um, open a jar, and start like feeding herself, because her intention is, as soon as she gets fuel into her body, she's getting the hell out of Dodge.
Fair
So
enough.
she's definitely helping him with this, but she's sitting there and she's like,
So there are 5 jars. They're old glass ball jars with brass tops. And inside one of them, you see what looks like fresh green tomatoes that have been pickled. Another jar has some sort of meat in it. If you wish to investigate it, I can tell you more about what that is. It seems to be spiced and preserved. There are peaches in one of them. And the last 2 jars have an assortment of beans and onions.
beans and onions. I'm okay with whatever that meat is. I will hand that to Lampwick.
Do I feel hungry?
No.
Then I'm just concentrating on trying to remember that pattern.
All right. If both of you are attempting to recall the brief glimpse that you caught on her palm from 30 feet away in the rain, I'm going to need to orchestrate a roll worthy of that difficulty. But if you succeed, I will in fact tell you.
I would want to call in, Achira's whole scouting and
Mhm.
searching thing. Like that's all her.
If we were in fact in the moment, I would take a lot of that into more firm consideration. But as we are now recalling something that has already passed, I feel that the best that I can do for either of you is a spot listen check. However, Lampwick, you're going to have 3 black dice of difficulty, and Achira, you're going to have 2.
Okay. Any kind of recon gear with that, or just straight roll?
Again, in the moment, you weren't using anything.
Got it.
Lampwick has 2 degrees of success, surprisingly. With 3 black dice of difficulty, that is impressive.
Yep.
Achira, you have 2 degrees of failure. How seriously are you trying to do this? Are you willing to spend competency this early?
I think Achira's not going to be in a help with Lampwick trying to remember this. More than likely, she is more focused on getting protein into her body and giving her body a chance for a quick rest before she gets the hell out.
Now, you said that you were eating fairly quickly. You've been starved for a while. I do want you to make an endurance check with no dice of difficulty or anything added onto it on the off chance that you would get a large number of failures if you do roll, and if it becomes problematic here, there may be some repercussions.
Okay. Is there anything that I have to put in endurance? Nope, not really. I have a survival kit, but that's not really for this. So
It depends on the degrees of success or failure that you get here. Okay, so that is 5 degrees of failure on the endurance check. Do you want to mitigate that to prevent yourself from vomiting?
yeah, okay.
Okay. All you have to do is take it down by 2. If you get it to 3 degrees of failure, it's just you're not going to be able to eat as fast as you want because your body is just not used to food right now, and you've just filled your stomach and you feel it start to churn, and you're going to have to take a break.
Okay.
If you would like to continue to eat, you'll have to remove all of them.
Yeah, no, I'll do 2, and she'll recap the jar and put the rest of the jar in her bag with the other beans and onion jar.
To your credit, you've eaten half of that jar, so you have been able to eat a sustainable amount of food. It will do you some good since you kept it down, but you are not going to be able to eat more at this point as you've nearly made yourself sick. Lampwick, you're scratching in the mud desperately, leaned over on the floor of this cabin using the mud from your boots and a stick, and you're drawing it out, trying to remember it. Now, with 2 degrees of success, given the circumstances, you don't remember the whole thing, but you remember the general shape of it. Some sort of spiraling shape, maybe with 3 prongs, all leading into a central point with maybe something in the middle, but you didn't see the details close enough. It's a circular form, and it was in her elderly palm, perhaps the size of a walnut.
I'm just going to trace it to try to commit it to memory, at least the part that I can recall. If there is something that I can draw it on, if I pull out like a scrap piece, I used to have a book that I had given to Achira. Do you still have the book I gave you a while ago?
I don't have my bag. The shepherds have it, along with a book that was very important to me.
I would have given it to you after I've returned from the shepherds.
Well, they're here now, so I doubt these are the same ones that actually have my pack, though.
I don't think so. I'm just going to kind of look around, see if there's anything that I can draw it on. Um, I'm pretty obsessed with this. It's sort of like a singular focus for a moment.
The 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 sauce in the meat jar, is it like thick and dark to where he'd be able to use that? Achira's going to kind of wave that at him, be like, "You haven't eaten." And
Right. I'll take the jar. And I'll what I'm gonna do is I'm going to then trace the pattern on like the inside of my shirt. Like I'm wearing the Citadel kind of gear. Uh and just anywhere that I can find a shirt, a sock, something. My undershirt, if they provided one, I'm gonna draw that on there.
It's a grayish, I mean, at one point it might have been white, but it's a grayish old military shirt, a tank top, and you rip a large swath of it off and throw it down. You can draw the shape on that using whatever you see fit.
Great. I will use. Uh, I'll unscrew the jar and whatever that liquid is that's inside of it. I'll very carefully trace it with that. And as soon as I'm done with it, I'll let it dry, and then I'll or let it soak in really, and then I'll kind of put it in my pocket.
Achira take the remaining jars and put them in her current pack, since it looks like Lampwick is not going to eat.
I'm not hungry.
You should be hungry. You. It's
You're
weird
right.
that you're not, and you should at least try to eat.
Okay. Okay, and now that other order of business with the pattern is done, now you can see that Lampwick's like much more present with Achira. It's been a while since I've had peaches. I'm gonna go for one of those and see what that's like. I'll smell it.
Make an endurance check for me. No dice of difficulty or anything added to this. You still have wounds that ache. However, your endurance is 4 degrees of success. The sugar, the smell, the sweetness, the saccharine aroma of the peaches hits you. Things start to come back to you. Like you can smell the cabin, you can smell Achira's sweat, you can smell the rain outside, the beans that she just ate. It's all in the air here now, and it's as if you hadn't been able to smell, and you now just are being hit with all of this at once. Do you want to eat?
I'm going to take a bite out of the peach. I should eat.
Seeing Lampwick do that, Achira visibly relaxes some, and Lampwick probably didn't notice, but she moves her hand away from her pistol.
You fall into a seated position, Lampwick, and you begin eating ravenously.
I will stop if I can get myself to,
You can.
knowing that this is something we should save. Wow, it's been a long time. You should try these. They're not bad.
I'll try a very small bite of one.
I'll pass the jar.
Achira, it's ecstasy. I mean, the sweetness is almost like candy in the jarring process, and sugar hits your bloodstream much quicker than the beans do, and you immediately start to feel better.
I forgot how good sweets can be.
Right. We should definitely save these for later.
Once I found a really, really old Snickers bar, and I almost did. That would have been such a mistake, but I almost did.
I don't even remember what that tastes like.
I just remember the commercials in my head. Those don't go away. They were really good at that, but
All right, well, look, I think obviously we know we have a limited amount of time, but I think that I mean, who's to know how safe we are? But I don't think that we're in
I
too
think
much immediate danger.
I don't think we're safe at all. I know I'm not safe. You might be,
I
Brother Lampwick.
Look, you know me. You know, you know me. And I know that you've seen me use my words, and I know that probably you're having a hard time because somewhere deep inside you, you probably know that I'm at least half serious about what I'm talking about with them. And I'm not I'm not a bullshitter with you, Achira. And I have said from the get-go that they know things, and you saw how they can control that creature.
That thing that
Yeah,
used to be the Sentinel, and now is that. Whatever that is,
whatever that
that is
is,
a predator. They made a predator.
they
They
did.
sent a predator after me before, and now that entire exchange was a threat. That entire thing, that if I get away somehow, they're going to send that after me. That's what that was.
No, that was not. That was an invitation.
They sent a Romero after me.
Right.
A giant, huge, talking, air sniffing Romero after me.
Why would they hunt you? Why would they expend so many resources to just hunt you?
Why do you think I have the answer to that, Lampwick?
I don't think they're hunting you like you think they are.
Oh, was the other Romero just going to take me in for hugs and hymns? Is that what they really
It's
wanted?
most definitely not. But they have another plan for you, and we cannot waste time arguing. We're on the same side, Achira. I know that's hard to see sometimes, but you have to know that I'm the most real with you. You have to feel that.
I do. I
So
don't doubt that.
So what do we do? I don't have a lot of time, and we certainly need to figure out what we're going to do here.
We need to get out. We need to get out, or we need to get help, or we need to do both.
If we get out, we can't run away from them. Also, because I am being honest with you, I can't run away from them because I don't know why.
How about you get help with them for your medical condition right now? And Achira nods over at his shoulder. Although, if they turned that sentinel into that thing, I don't. Maybe you'd have better luck us getting away and finding Digger.
Maybe. I don't know. I think.
Or
Look,
maybe they will help you because that other thing was very dead.
right. And this monster that we just saw, did it appear dead to you?
It appears deadly to me.
Right. It's not dead like the Romeros to me. It's not dead like the Sentinel was when we last saw him.
Are we really going to split hairs here?
No, we don't have to split hairs. Well, actually, no, we do. This is about understanding the living and the dead and all the spaces in between. And you're talking to someone who's straddling that right now. I want to understand every last nuance of that. Because now I have what, 6 days?
It hasn't been a, I mean, 6.5 at least,
So
if not more. And then also it seems like they have a lot of plans for you. So maybe asking them for help would be a really good thing for
I need to
you. But
talk
I
to
just
them.
know that I don't see this being a good place for me, Lampwick.
I know, I understand. I understand. Let me have a chance. My goal, my number one goal, with whatever time I have left to Chira, is to do my best to set you up so that I can go into whatever is next at least a little more at ease. I need that. And second to that is my own survival, and I can't believe I'm saying that. Maybe I just don't have enough faith that there's a way back. Or maybe I have more faith in you and what you might be capable of than you can even fucking see for yourself. I don't know why, but that's what I feel compelled in me. So I don't want to waste time arguing with you anymore. I want to work together. What do you need? What do you need ideally from this situation from them? And I want to help you get that. They're chasing you. What you want? Answers? You want to learn something? I'll do. I'll find a way, maybe.
I want for you to get the help that you need, whether it's with them or it's with me and you finding Digger. I need for that to happen because I can't I can't lose somebody else that's important to me. Not after Arya. I mean, I think you pretty much I think you I think you know that you are the most important person in my life right now. Before it was Arya. Well, before it was you, then it was Arya, and now it's you again. And I think you parsed that out. I mean, you
Look, this is all I
Lampwicked that
know.
out.
I don't. I watch people. I don't overthink things too much, but I know the moments that stick with me, that show me what someone is really about. And you know what I remember about you? I remember the day you left way back then when we were stuck in that shack.
The bunker
Yeah.
for the oranges.
Uh-huh. But you know what sticks out to me the most about that little incident was that you came back. People
I
don't
for
come back.
I forgot my share of the oranges,
Right.
Lampwick. I told you that.
I don't care. I don't care, Chira. Sometimes it's not about what you think it is. Sometimes just let me have what I need it to be. Just let me have what I need that to be. I need to believe that you came back not just for the fucking oranges.
It wasn't just the oranges. You know that.
I know. Stop lying about it.
I have to I I have to have something here, Lampwick. I have to.
Well, I know you do, but you don't always, Achir. You don't always. I need you to remember how to make one or two other friends. You don't got to be friends with everybody, but you got to have someone. Got to have someone.
I have you.
Yeah, for 6.5 more days. We'll find a way. We're going to find a way, but if we don't, then I need you, I need us to work with that possibility.
Okay.
Let people know that you're coming back for them. Because you care.
You don't understand what caring has done for me in the past. You don't understand what I've gone through. When people know that when people know that you care and that you'll come back. We're we're going to get you we're going to get you help from the shepherds because they're right here and it makes sense.
It does. You need rest. And Achira, I want to just say one thing. I understand what you're saying. You don't know what not caring has done to me in the past. It's a lot worse.
I think we'd have to compare notes on that.
Well, then we're just going to have to make sure that we have more than 6.5 days to do it because that's a lot of fucking notes. Okay, you need rest.
A very, very quick one. And then I'm going to start scouting the back walls, see if there's another way out of here. But I do up to a certain point, I'll make good so that you can get the help that you need from them. But I will also find a way out of here for the both of us.
That
So
sounds good to me.
Don't get too far into their Kool-Aid because you are getting out with me. Do you hear me, Lampwick?
I do. I do. Let's get dry however we can. And let's get a little rest. And then I'm going to go and see what I can do with Granny Hodge and Sister Deidre.
And I'll see what I can scout in the town.
It takes less than 30 seconds.
I care.
I know.
More than I probably should.
Those words tumble out of Achira's mouth as you lay her down on the cot. And it takes less than 30 seconds for her eyes to grow heavy and for her to find sleep. Lampwick, you are now inside the quiet shack. In the mud, a symbol has been scratched. Achira is sleeping. You're watching her breathe. It scares you. The way that she breathes. It reminds you of everyone that you have ever felt for, cared for, loved. She's alive. And you've spent your entire life surviving. Lying, cheating, stealing, manipulating, killing. It all weighs on you as you stand there looking down at her in that dark, sad cabin. Her chest rises and falls with regularity. And you think about Isabella and everyone that came before. But outside is that song. And it echoes into the rainy streets of Sullivan Town. Oh, children of the valley, walking hand in hand. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Welcome back to Hunter's Entertainment on Twitch.tv. My name is Knoxweiler Burf, and I am your game master through our Outbreak Undead campaign, Rag and Bone. Achira, sleep has taken you. Exhaustion, starvation, the mental anguish of all that you have suffered these past weeks takes you into a black, empty void that holds you close and in some ways sets you free. There is only this sense of memory. That familiar feeling and that fear of loss. The reason that you run, the reason that you're always alone. It echoes here. And when you wake, Sullivan Town is forgotten. It's 1994. You're in your old bedroom. Would you describe it to us, please?
Yeah. Achira has a number of posters on her wall. She has Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff up on her wall. She has In Vogue. That's definitely up there also. It's a lot of music inspired things going on with her walls. Don't speak from. I'm sorry. No doubt is up there. The Tragic Kingdom poster. She
Gwen
also
Stefani is screaming
Gwen
out towards your bedroom then, as well as all of In Vogue and Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. It's bright, it's colorful, and there's a lot of daylight pouring through your windows, which have these gossamer curtains on them, and it lends everything a sort of a fuzzy warmth. What color are the walls?
The walls are robin's egg blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she has a 4-poster bed, not with a canopy, just the 4 posters, and all the furniture in the room is a darker wood. And her main window looks out over a bunch of trees in the backyard. Although it's more of an urban setting, but there are trees when she looks through her window, which is pointed towards the backyard of the house.
Your brother Blaine is in your room. The door is open and he's standing by the desk looking at one of your tapes. A mixtape that was given to you.
Hey, dork. What are you doing?
Feeling kind of bad about your music collection. He drops it back down on the desk. Some of this is good, but some of it. Achira, really?
You don't know anything. You're older and you think you know. You don't know anything.
I know
You
that
got,
if I hear waterfalls one more time out of your room, I'm gonna scream.
it's such a good song though, right? I mean,
Not
it's
the
so deep.
7,000th time. Not the 7,000th time,
It's
sis. I'm
it's
sorry.
it's so deep because you have to know to not chase the things that aren't meant for you because then you just hurt yourself. And I'm sorry if you can't understand that, Blaine. I wish you had better taste in music, but I guess all of us can't be really into the 69 boys because
Your brother is very handsome, and he smiles, and when he does, he has this way of lighting up rooms. He's charismatic, he's easygoing, his spirit has always been light and free. He's dressed very casually. He's got a jersey on. He's got on a pair of loose pants, but they're well fitted, and you know that they're expensive, along with pristine sneakers. And he's got a beeper on his belt. And he walks towards you, smiling, just nodding, before he grabs your covers and throws them over your head.
no.
You've been sleeping all day. You need to get up, all right? Come on, let's go. I have something I want to show you.
It was my day off from being your sister,
It is
so
not your day off from
it
being my.
was totally my
No,
day off.
you don't get one. You're always my sister. Now stand
Mm.
up, get dressed, take a shower. You smell. And he pushes you over and starts walking out the door.
I don't smell. As she like then sniffs her pit and like goes in to take her shower.
You smell. Yeah. So you go and you clean up and you get dressed. Do you want to describe what you're wearing in 94?
Sure. She has yeah, let's say that she has baggy pants on, and a tight camouflage shirt, and she slicks up her hair into like a top band with a top knot that she puts a bandana around and leaves the rest of her hair down. And she puts on a fanny pack, of course. It's reflective. It's a reflective fanny pack and Reeboks. She's got Reeboks on. And she puts on some darker lipstick. Oh, and then like she looks at herself in the mirror and she's like, and then she pulls a jersey out of her closet and has that open. And it's, oh God, 94. It's she has Chicago Bulls. Can't go wrong with Chicago Bulls.
Very popular. You
Yeah.
definitely can't. Anywhere in the Midwestern United States or the southern parts of the United States, it would be rampant. Yep, 23. All right. So you get dressed, and as you start walking down the stairs, you hear your brother on the phone arguing. His beeper is sitting on the kitchen counter, and he's trying to speak low. You can tell so that no one else can hear, but he's obviously very heated. I don't know where she is. We've been looking for her. You gotta tell me if you know where she is. I'm not playing around. Like it's important. Look, man, fuck. I love her. What do you know? It's been 2 days, Kachira. Blaine's girlfriend has been missing. Gone. Without saying a word. Everyone's worried. Your brother has been distracted. I mean, he puts on a really, really good show. But she's gone. Nobody knows where she is. Surya Capo was a friend of yours, is a friend of yours. It's not like her. I mean, she's not exactly reliable, but she wouldn't do this, not to Blaine. Blaine was everything to her. She had meant everything. They were living together. it all felt like it was new to them. They're still a young couple, but not quite as young as you are now. You're still here. No one can find her. Your brother hangs up the phone, and hearing you creak as you step down, he turns around. You can see that he's wiping away a tear, but when he turns around, he's smiling, and you would never know. You wash that stink off? I'm not walking around with you stinking like that.
No, I showered.
All right.
And I'm gonna get so good at sneaking up on you one day. You won't even know I'm there.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it, because right now you're like a pack of elephants in a china shop moving down those steps. So get your things. Come on, we're going out. We're not sticking around here. I don't want to be around here any longer than I need to. I'm going to show you the apartment. We'll make a stop on the way though. How about that?
All right, yeah. No, I want to get out of here. And who wants to be here? If I'm not going to have my day off from you, then I might as well hang out with you, I guess.
The two of you go outside. It's a beautiful day. It's warm. It's got that heat that just sort of hangs in the air. It's humid, but it's sort of refreshing, right? And to you, it feels like home. The two of you get into your brother's car. It's a old red 94 Civic. It's newer now, but it's seen a lot of action in the past year. He's battered it up. It's covered in dirt. He spent a lot of money on it.
Only you could save up for a new car and then have it look like it's an old car in the same year that you bought it. I mean, look at this. Do you not know what a trash can is? Look at these like McDonald's.
I don't have time. I don't have time to wash the car. Look, I'm not going to wash the car. I have other things to be worried about. This Civic has been doing me well. And he opens the door for you and kind of ushers you into the passenger side. He closes the door. He's being exceptionally nice, which is suspicious because usually your brother isn't this nice. I mean, he can be okay, but he gets in and he turns over the engine. It sputters a little bit. Again, he's really treated this Civic like hell. And it turns over and he pops one of your tapes into the tape player.
Hey, you grabbed that from my room.
You're right. Sorry about last week. Listen, we were having a fight, you know. She means well, but I know I missed your birthday, so I'm gonna make it up to you. I thought we could spend the day together. Your music, your choice, right? Listen, here it is, Waterfalls.
All right. I mean, it's like, I mean, it was real trash that you forgot my birthday. Like, you have other sisters, but, I guess I'm stuck with you. So, I mean, if you make good today, then I guess I will kind of be on my way to sort of forgiving you. But forgiveness is a steep price, my bro. I'm just saying. You're driving around in a car, and I just have to get along with my Reeboks and a bike.
You got the bus too, don't forget that. He smiles as you're driving along the street.
What, and you're okay with me just like running around town on a bus? I should have a car too. Or at least I could borrow yours. It's not like
you should get your ass a job and buy yourself a car like I did.
I'm working on it. There are irons in the fire, bro.
It's not that hard. There are plenty of places that need someone smart. You go in there, you fill out an application, you work hard, you take your paycheck, you put it in the bank, you don't spend it on dumb shit. That's all it is.
You don't get to say what's dumb or what's not. And then also, it's not as easy as you think that it is. I mean, it's easy for you. It's easy for you and Surya. I mean,
he just drops a smile and he starts kind of looking off into the distance as he drives. sort of that faraway look that your brother gets every once in a while, ever since she disappeared. His
I'm
beeper
sure.
goes off, and he looks at you, and then he just sort of hides it.
You know, you've been weird lately. This was like, I mean, forgetting my birthday, that's not you. And I just want you to know that I'm here. You know, I'm here for you. And we're gonna find Surya. I mean, I know all of this is just really messed up, but we'll find her and we'll find out like what happened, why she's been gone. And it'll make sense. All of it will make sense. And then the both of you will be that disgusting couple that, oh, we love each other again.
He's gripping hard onto the steering wheel as you drive. He's nodding. He's listening to you, but you can tell he's trying to not show you how badly he's hurt.
I mean, you know you can talk to me, right? I mean, we have each other always. I mean, the foster care system couldn't split us up. we have we have us.
Yeah. No, we stuck together. I wouldn't let him take you. I screamed when they tried.
And I was a terror in any home that you weren't in too.
It didn't take him long to put us back together. Surya is important to me. You're important to me, right? But with her, we've just never had anyone except each other. And it was really hard for me to trust anyone else. You know that.
Yeah.
I just focused on school and, you know, I got a lot of shit. But, you know, I did right. 3.5 GPA, that's something to be proud of.
Yeah. No, it's like really good. And you know, you're not completely ugly. So, you know, you also have that going for
He
you.
smiles and kind of bashfully throws his head down, which is even just more disgustingly attractive, you know, like when somebody who is attractive throws themselves, you know, away from the compliment and it just makes them look better. Your brother really is a kind soul, and it shows in his face and his smile, his eyes. He laughs easily, but when he's hurt, everyone around him feels it. He's powerful like that, you know? And you've always been drawn and a little scared of that, maybe. I don't know where she is. And look, she and I had a fight.
Couples fight.
Yeah, it was bad. She I don't think she loves me.
Well, that's not possible. I mean, everyone loves you.
Yeah, well, not her. I don't think. I don't know. I can't ask her. I don't know where she is. She just left. We just got this apartment and now I don't know. Listen,
Maybe she got a little scared, you know, of her emotions. That happens,
yeah, I understand that.
you know.
But
But that
leave
means
me a
that she'll be
note.
back.
Okay. I hope. It's been a week. I kind of thought it'd be different, you know?
I thought you
Look,
said it. I thought you said it's been 2 days. It's been a week.
No, she's been gone a lot longer than that. It's been about 8 days. I lied. And I lied because I didn't want anybody else to be worried. But I've been talking to
It's a
some of my
long
friends.
time.
Mhm.
Did you like go to the police? I mean, with a friend and not just by yourself?
No, I can't. Well, you know, she's got friends, and I just don't want there to be too many questions that might get her in trouble.
Do you Wait, I don't understand. I don't understand. Wait, is she so she's gone, but do you know where she is, or did she just up and leave? Like, do we need to call America's Most Wanted to like start looking?
We're not
Or
calling America's Most Wanted, Achira. Look, I didn't want to do this. Is your birthday, okay? Look, let's just enjoy the
my
day.
birthday was last week, Blaine. This is a makeup day. And I'm okay with it being us figuring things out.
I'm trying to get Jaden to tell me what's going on because I think she knows. She's been acting weird. She wouldn't return my page, and then she did, and then she said that I shouldn't worry, that she knew that things were okay, but she couldn't say anything else.
I hate Jaden. She is like such a waste of a human being. Sorry.
I don't
She,
like her either, but you know what
we used to
Jaden
be
does.
friends. We used to
Right,
be friends. And then
right.
then her and Surya were just like, and then all of a sudden everything was wrong with me, kind of a thing.
Jaden's dealing.
What?
Jaden, she's into some really just bad shit right now. And if she and let's not right now, okay? Your birthday, look, he pulls up and you can see that he's at your favorite ice cream shop, and he like takes a parking spot, jumps out, is smiling now like the conversation never happened, and opens the door for you. Come on, loser. Ice cream's gonna melt. They've only got so much in the store. We got to get it now while it's still going.
Yeah. Um, you know I love you, right? But I also hate it when you do this. When you put on Happy Blaine for me. Uh, can you stay away from Jaden though? I mean, I'm okay with like us having the rest of this day together, but can you stay away from Jaden? She's the worst kind of person. The worst. She's all in it for the drama of the wrong side of the tracks.
That's what I'm worried about. Look, I got this. Okay, today's your birthday. He grabs you by the chin and holds your chin up. He's like, "Look at me. I got this. It's you and me. I would never lie to you. I would never hurt you. But sometimes I don't tell you everything. And the reason that I don't tell you everything is because I want to protect you. You're all that I've got."
You're all I have too, when it comes down to it. So fill me up with ice cream, loser.
He smiles. "That we can do." And he opens up the door. The bell rings as the two of you walk into the ice cream shop. And for the rest of the day, everything's forgotten. Lampwick. You're not even sure what month it is anymore. Sometime in the fall. It's 1997. The world is still burning all around you. The cities aren't safe. Most of the people, they've turned into those things. Enormous groupings of the dead clot every single street and highway, choked with forgotten or abandoned vehicles. The burnt remains of cities stand on every single horizon that you've searched. You're carrying with you your shield. She's bigger than when you took her. She's in a papoose. You've kept her clean. You've seen that she was fed. There's no doubt in your mind or your heart that you've saved her life. Isabella, Bella, your daughter, as far as anyone in this community is concerned. You've had to move pretty quickly. You've made moves, perhaps where you shouldn't have. Taken things that you and she needed. But this daughter of yours, she's an easy ticket. As dangerous and frightening as it is to carry an infant child in this world, it opens a lot of doors really quickly. This early on, people's hearts haven't hardened, not like they will. At this time, people only see a loving father struggling to survive. And you've done what you had to survive. You've pulled yourself up, given yourself and this infinite a life. You've had to fight for it from time to time, but it's been far easier with this golden ticket. You're walking. It's night. On your back, you've got a bedroll, some camping equipment, and a 4-person tent. Next to you is Marcus. The two of you are holding hands. He's a lover that you've taken, someone that has been able to help protect and provide, and has given you a very good entry into this group. He's a kind man. He used to be a police officer. You find a lot of irony in that. The two of you have spent nights together going through some of your more acceptable shenanigans from before the fall. And he's shared war stories with you, chasing down criminals not too unlike yourself. Bella gurgles quietly as the two of you walk. Behind you, 5 other survivors. In front of you, 4 more. Everyone is quiet. There are no lights. It's very dark. The moon and the stars are all that guide you. If there's any conversation, it's in a low, low whisper, so that the Romeros, they don't hear you. That's what they're calling them now. Not just the dead. This area, what used to be Pittsburgh, it had a lot of affection for the creator of an old movie series about just such a nightmare. And whoever first uttered the word in context for these dead things didn't realize quite how powerfully it would take hold. It seems more sterilized. It removes them from what they once were. It lets you forget, just for a moment. They are you. Just add a little time. Marcus looks to you. Hey, where are you at?
I look back and look into his eyes and search for what's underneath that. I search for what I think he wants to hear.
Make for me, please, a detect motives roll. No dice of difficulty, despite the darkness. You know Marcus well. You've pulled strings. That's not to say that you don't genuinely feel something, but you've learned how to use the people around you. Would you like to spend some competency to alter that?
No.
Mm-hmm. You're off your game tonight, Lampwick. He is a cop, or a former cop. He has a way of asking questions and not showing you his hand. In some ways, you find that challenge exhilarating, but it's also dangerous.
In time, I'll figure this one out. I'm going to squeeze his hand tightly, and I'm going to say, I'm right here, right next to you. Where are you?
To be honest, I'm a little worried. Last 2 nights, you left me and the kid. Where have you been going?
Just needed a little bit of air.
That's 2 nights worth of air. He squeezes your hand. If there's a problem, you know, I'm here.
I know. Thank you.
And I care about that kid, but I'm not your damn babysitter. And he sort of smiles, and the two of you walk for a while longer.
I make sure to give him one extra squeeze. And if he turns to look at me, I'm going to avoid the eye contact in a playful way.
You know how much he loves the Koi Act, and you're pushing buttons right now. And at the end of the community's hike, this group that you're traveling with, he seems like he's in a bit of a rush to get the tent set up a little faster than normal.
I'm going to give him a hand. What's up?
Just looking forward to going to bed tonight. And he grabs you and pulls you into a long kiss.
I will resist it just enough, and then completely pull into it.
The two of you have dinner and spend some time with some of the other community members. You speak with the leadership about watch and about how individuals are going to be taking a patrol around the area to make sure that the Romeros don't come any closer than they already are. There have been a lot of rumors about a large grouping of them off into the distance, and frankly, no other people have been found in months. Your group is barely 10 people. It's not even a handful of what you were hoping to gather together, but this group is trying to find a place that they can start to settle, to build a community and start from the ground up. They all seem willing to work together. And that night, you wake up. And you know you have a meeting. You need to deliver something.
I would have done a couple things in preparation. I would have made sure I would have given Marcus anything and everything he needed and asked for so that he went to bed at peace. And I would have made sure that Bella was nestled in between us as a barrier so that I can sneak away more easily.
One of the teenage daughters, one of the other survivors, keeps an eye on Bella while you and Marcus have some private time together, and he falls asleep exhausted, predictably so. But you and Bella are in between him. Bella, you know, is safe. His gun is right next to him. And Marcus is one fucking hell of a shot. You've seen him take things down from across fields, and it's one of the things that sort of drew you to him was how capable and strong he really was. And he wasn't one of those police officers that didn't take care of himself or really understand what it meant to serve people. You think, though you're not sure, Marcus might have been one of the good ones.
That makes him exactly a perfect target.
An easy target. You gather the knapsack that you've got stashed outside the tent, and you start moving through the trees. The figure that you find out there, just as they'd promised, is haggard, looks tired, twitching, scratching themselves in their neck as you approach. Did you get the meds?
Maybe.
Yeah. Look, Lampwick, I am not going to fuck around with you this right now if you're trying to play some mind game with me. You tell me what you want. We'll make an arrangement.
I want to get the fuck out of this thing I've got back here. I want to find a bigger, better group. And I know that you know what's out there. You look like you've seen everything. I'll give you what you want if you can take me to where I know I belong.
It's just a matter of time. I told you that last time you brought me what they found. Knocking over pharmacies is getting a lot harder. Everything's going quick. I got clients that need things real bad. Yeah, there are others out here. Stronger groups. Your little Sunday school class out there, camped out in their little tents from fucking Walmart. They got maybe 6 months in them. Pretty soon they'll be losing their shit and eating each other.
Right. I don't intend to stick around to see that happen.
Yeah, fine. You bringing that screaming kid?
Depends. where you think I might end up. Do they like kids?
There are some people that are talking about resettling. I myself have kind of given up. Most people have. The idea that any of this is going to get better is a fucking lie. So really, and I think I know, I can smell who you are, Lampwick. I think you're the kind of person that needs a situation with like-minded individuals who will take what they want. So, yeah, I could send you over for a price to a group that would be better suited to taking care of you and a kid. Or ditch the fucking kid and I'll open the gate and show you how to make some real profit. Not this fucking child's play you're dealing with right now.
Ha ha ha, now you're talking. Yeah, I want to know more about that. I think you've earned yourself a little bit of this, and I'll pull out a couple of pills that I have in my pocket.
Is that the fucking Percocet you promised?
I don't know. Why don't you take it and find out?
He grabs it. There's a sound behind you, Lampwick. Your contact, Edward, jerks his eyes over your shoulder. He reaches for a gun. And as soon as he places it onto the handle, a single shot fires from behind you. Edward hits the ground, dead. Bullet in the center of his head.
I hit the ground immediately and start shaking in fear, but not at where that shot came from. I'm acting as though I was terrified of who was in front of me. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
I'm going to remove the dice of difficulty I was going to give you. And I want you to make a persuade roll. Straight.
I'm going to use 3.
Because that's 2 degrees of failure as it stands, but you spend 3 competency. You make it a degree of success, which makes it 4, correct?
Right. Oh my God. I turn
you feel
around.
A hand on your back, and you see Marcus as he holsters his gun.
I grab it. And
he pulls you into a hug and pulls your head to his chest, and both of you fall into the dried leaves as he holds you, and his strong arms don't let you go and hold you there while you tremble. And he soothes you as he brushes your hair with his hand, and he whispers, "Shh, it's all right. It's all right. You're safe now."
And I relax right into his arms and let him think that he saved me.
He holds your head protectively on either side with his hands as he leans his forehead to yours. "Baby, I need you to tell me what's going on."
I will from now on. I just didn't know. I was scared. And I was just trying to protect us. I need to know that I can protect us too sometimes. Thank you. Thank you.
You haven't been exactly honest with me, honey. It's been real hard. You know what I used to do. And I know you may not forgive me, but I found your driver's license. Your real driver's license. Do you have something you want to tell me?
You were looking through my stuff.
You had disappeared 2 nights in a row and left me with your daughter.
Right, for good
Your
reason.
your
as you
your
now
daughter, your daughter, right?
see. Yeah. Yeah, my daughter.
Do you want to tell me something about where you're from or who you are? Really? I'm gonna put my cards on the table, and he's still holding. He's trying to grab you close. Do you let him still hold you?
I am Mhm. I am doing exactly the right kind of pushing away, but not struggling too much.
Mm-hmm. You're playing him still, and he's buying it. But now you know what he knows.
How could you expect me to lay all my cards on the table? You know how hard it is to trust somebody? I want to trust you. I think I can more than I've been able to trust anybody. I trust you with my own child. But just because I am not moving as fast as you think I should doesn't mean that I'm not moving.
Baby, that's what worries me. You're moving. You're always moving. I just want you to be still. And I want you to be here with me, the real you. I know things are different now. But you told me things, and I believed you. I trusted you. And now I know what I suspected is right. You haven't been honest with me. And I don't know why. And honestly, I don't need to know why. I just want to know who you are. I can't love someone that I don't know. I can't love a lie.
Okay, I understand. I didn't mean I didn't mean for it to be like that. I was just I was trying to protect myself and my kid. No more lies. I promise.
All right. He pulls you into a hug. Do you accept it?
Hell yeah. I just dive for it and give him the hardest hug. Harder than any other one that I've ever given. And then I just start crying and sobbing like a little kid in his arms.
How about we start over? My name is Marcus Graves.
My name is
Lampwick. You're standing at the door of the small tin shack. The rain outside is pouring all around. Achira is asleep behind you. Her steady breath reminds you of everyone that you've left behind in this moment. Out there, you hear the song. Granny Hodge is singing a lullaby, a hymn to that terror that stands out in the rain, in the mud, the twisted remains of that dead thing that was placed upon you by the shepherds. What Achira said you know to be true. thinking back on the face of the thing, the flesh, certainly it wasn't recognizable, but there were hard and heavy marks, scars that matched the bullet wounds when last you saw that sentinel lying in the dirt underneath Rowan's gun. What do you do?
I step towards the door and I look back at a cheer up. And I just take note of the rhythm of her breathing, the rising and falling.
You might hear the name Blaine said again.
And then I turn and I walk out the door and back into the ring.
Are you moving back to the main thoroughfare that leads to the gates where last you saw Granny Hodge
Yeah,
and Sister Deidre?
I am.
Your approach does not go unnoticed. There are a few of the members of Sullivan Town on the walls, walking with their sad, rusted shotguns and farm tools that they carry to their sides, axes and machetes. Their ragged clothes drenched underneath rain slickers that they have drawn close to them. They don't look at you with the same hostility that they once did, not when Rowan was here. Word must have gotten around. They pay attention to you, but they're not aggressive. These old shacks surround you, and you walk closer to the street. And right at the gate, which has been opened, stands Granny Hodge in the rain, singing softly, her forehead pressed against the abomination that you saw earlier, as Sister Deidre works her way around it, anointing this thing in blood and bone, draping the remains of some unknown person across them. Intestines tether the bones together. Strips of wet flesh, like leather, are used to bind the bone to this thing. And as Granny Hodge sings, she turns and picks up from an unwrapped bundle an enormous elk skull with antlers. She carries it over and places it upon the thing's face. It has been hollowed out. And Deidre takes wet strips of human flesh and ties it into place. As the song continues, both of them are singing. You're standing there watching all of this. Do you approach or do you allow them to finish their work?
How far away am I?
20 feet. There's a narrow alleyway that you were led down. You're at the foot of that alley. It opens into the thoroughfare, the main street. That, in the open, in front of everyone who can see, is where they're holding their little ritual in the rain.
I'm going to take a few steps forward and then I'm going to kneel in prayer. And I'm going to hum the song. I don't want to be arrogant enough to think that I can participate like how they are. I know my place. And I certainly am not going to interrupt it. But I want to offer something.
Are you
Nonetheless,
being genuine, or is this a show?
this is genuine.
Make a composure check. No dice of difficulty, nothing added.
Oof.
You're not on your game, Lampwick. You have let down your guard here. This is not a show. This is genuine. And you are praying, but you don't think you know how to. You're grasping at that feeling that Brother Hayworth had shown you, at the words that he had spoken, at the song, you're humming it. All of it seems like you're trying to fool yourself. And it isn't working. Do you wish to keep the 4 degrees of failure you have on your composure?
Is that considered a critical fail?
It is.
I certainly don't want that.
How many competency points do you have remaining?
1.
How many survival points do you have?
I have 15.
That won't do. We've already tapped your survival points given your last encounter, and you've not had time to recuperate yet. That's unfortunate. You can reduce it by 1, but that will be your last competency point. It will bring it down to 3 degrees of failure.
I think I need to, so I will. Can't have a critical fail right now.
You don't feel it, Lampwick. You don't know if maybe you don't really have faith, or if you're doing something wrong, or if you're afraid of what this all means. You're facing death. You've been bitten. Things are strange, but you don't think they're getting better. You should be dead already. And then there's Achira. She's always in your mind now. You're thinking about her. Your mind isn't clear. And in that moment, somehow, time has passed, and kneeling there, you didn't hear or recognize the sounds. They seemed like they were 1,000 miles away, and now old, wrinkled hands are on your shoulders. Deidre and Granny Hodge are on either side of you. Deidre is not touching you, but Granny Hodge has placed her hands on your shoulder and is looking down at you as she stands above you, where you kneel. You feel her frail, small hands across your forehead and in your hair as she presses her palm to the center of your forehead, right between your eyes.
I'm going to touch her hand and press it against my forehead and lean my forehead into it.
What is your empathy?
My empathy is 4 and 1.
Yeah.
41.
What is your morale currently?
My morale is 7.
Reduce that to 6. You are lost. You have been lost for so long. You don't even remember what the light feels like, what it feels like to be found. Brother Hayworth has talked about you. He says that you have the power to spread the word like none other. To be a powerful force for our good cause. To bring faith to the faithless. And to spread the reach of our people who have now emerged from their long wait. We are no longer in the shadows, child. We are here. But I see things with my eyes that Brother Hayworth does not. I see a danger in you. Deception, sin. I see the stench upon you. This garden is rotten. And you just might be the snake.
I've come to you for your wisdom and your guidance. I believe in my heart and in my spirit that I have a purpose, that I am able to reach people that are in the darkness because I know the darkness. Every snake sheds its skin, and I am trying to shed my skin and let the new, fresh me be someone bathed in light. You are right, I am still a work in progress. And I'll look around at the people in Sullivan, and I'll see if I can find Robin.
You do. He's looking at you from behind a post on one of the buildings. He's sort of pulling himself back. You see a black eye on his face.
As imperfect as I am, there is something that I can provide. They see me as one of them. They hear me. They listen to me. I am a shepherd. As imperfect as I am. And I'm here to serve that purpose. Help me.
Very well. We will see, Brother Lampwick. We will see. Do me the service of taking that bundle there and offering it to the vessel. Open it. Give it to him. And do not fear, for if you fear, Your lessons and trials will never begin. You will be done.
I nod.
She steps back, releasing her hands from your forehead. You sense Sister Deidre behind you. The rain is still coming down, not as hard as it once was, but it hasn't stopped. The mud and the water is everywhere. But underneath one of the awnings, you can see what Granny Hodge had motioned towards. It's a wrapped Citadel uniform.
This is the bundle.
She nods as you move towards it.
I will take it and I will unwrap it.
Scraps of bloody bandage, a torn piece of cloth, a boot knife. These are Rowan's things.
I look to Granny Hodge. This bundle you want me to offer, and I look at the creature. Or am I offering this?
Give it to him, child. Show him the way, so that the hunter may find their prey. These people, they have suffered mightily at the hand of sin, and now sin shall be repaid, and death will ride upon that horizon.
So many sinners in this world. So many in the Citadel. Is there no worth in saving even the darkest of the sinners? What if we brought one of them to the light? How might that? What favor might that bring us and the prophet?
The prophet Malachi sees much. The Citadel may yet have its use, but I believe the brother Hayworth told you what their purpose was and how they would be used. This is incentive. They will not waver. When our messenger arrives, they will see the need for alliance, and they will not question our strength.
Lightwork looks around at the people that are left in Sullivan and takes in again the scars, the beaten and broken remaining people at the hands of the Citadel. And he remembers how one of them said, "They took our kids."
That they did.
This might be the perfect incentive. Thank you for helping me see the light. And with complete conviction, Lampwick steps right up to his old friend.
This creature now is a nightmare, one that you do not recognize, but in the deep black eyes that are behind the elk skull that has been etched with strange glyphs, in the tatters of flesh and bone that hang from it, this pale figure, this monstrous thing, barely human, leans down to you and presses its head into your hands like a child, accepting the love of a parent. And it breathes in. Taking the scent of its prey. The pale rider leaps over you with a single bound and charges into the wilderness beyond the gate in the rain and fog, disappearing from sight. Achira, you jolt awake. His name is on your lips, and you swear you smell Drakkar Noir, his preferred cologne, but it's gone as quickly as it came. You feel the hug your brother gave you and everything that happened after when he took his own life. All of it comes crashing back in, and the reality of who you are now returns. This horrid, shitty little shack in the middle of Sullivan Town. You're alone. Lampwick is gone. But I need you to make a spot listen check, please.
Anything attached to it?
Nothing. You have 3 degrees of failure on the spot listen. Perhaps it's the nightmare or what has happened today or the rain. Do you wish to spend competency to alter that?
Yeah. Let's see if there's something to see. I'll do 4 competency to make it 1 degree of success.
You
Unless
almost
I
miss
should
it.
do more.
You almost miss it. The crackling of a radio.
I'm gonna grab my pack and head towards the sound.
grab your pack. You start moving towards the sound. It's 2 cabins away. You remember Robin mentioning something about a radio, about how Rowan had helped to get it working again using a couple of old batteries, that they had contacted the Citadel. You remember Rowan mentioning that she had spoken with Riggs. This must be that radio, and someone has left it on. It doesn't seem like anyone else is in this part of the town. Would you like to make a stealth roll to ensure that you aren't seen?
Absolutely. May I add something to that?
If you have any gear, you can.
I definitely do.
There are no degrees of difficulty. The rain, the weather, all of it is helping you in this moment to sneak across the dark streets of Sullivan Town. As good as Achira is, you do have 1 degree of failure. Do you have any competency remaining to adjust that?
I do. I have 3 left in total. I'll use them
All 3?
if I have to.
1 degree of success would probably work. If you wish to spend 2, you will ensure that no one sees you. If you want to be certain, spend 2 more on top of your removal of the 1 degree of failure.
I want to be certain.
All 3 then. You move through the rainy streets. The door is open. The wind is battering it. It swings, creaking in the breeze. There is a porch made of pallet wood and old steel corrugated. The roof is being pelted with drops of rain, and it sounds like a drum. But you hear the crackle of the radio, and you see a small light flickering inside. Do you enter this shack?
Yes.
On a table, a workbench really, pressed up against the wall. It's a filthy old CB radio. You see a number of large makeshift batteries attached to it, refurbished and rebuilt 1,000 times over. The wires are sparking, but the radio crackles. And then you hear a familiar voice asking if you're there, asking for anyone.
Does anyone read me? Achira, Lampwick, anyone? Kusanagi, anyone? Over.
And that's where we're going to end our session tonight.